Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Just wanted to make a quick video on how do we perform an installation of the newly released Nutanix Kubernetes platform. Let's get started. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to go into the Nutanix support portal, go to the top left under the hamburger menu to expose the sidebar, head over to downloads and select Nutanix Kubernetes platform. Over here, we've got two main things that we need to download. The first one is the NKP Node OS image. So this is based off Rocky Linux, and this is the out-of-the-box provided Linux image that Nutanix provides, whereby all the master nodes and worker nodes will be spun off from this particular image. We can also build our own images, for example, using Ubuntu, and then use something called an image builder to actually make it capable to run Nutanix Kubernetes platform. The next one is the NKP CLI. I'm going to be using the NKP for Linux CLI because I'll be using the Linux jump host. So I've already uploaded the Node OS image, but I just wanted to share a cool little trick that not sure if whether everyone knows, but you can actually click on the three little buttons over here and copy download link. Head over into Prism Central under Infrastructure, Images, and click on Add Image. After that, select URL and enter the URL that you just copied over here. And this allows us to actually download the image in the background, right? I've already done this, so I won't be doing it again, but I just wanted to share this with everyone. So once I have that, I need to download the NKP CLI binary. Let's click on copy download link, head over to my Linux jump host, and I'm going to download this file. Once that is done, I'm going to extract the file and move the NKP CLI executable into the bin folder. Once that is done, we can check the version of NKP CLI. And the NKP CLI is currently running v2.12, and that is the latest at this current point of time of recording. So the next thing we need to do is we can go ahead and start creating a cluster. So how we do that is we type NKP, create cluster, Nutanix, and you'll be greeted with this terminal UI that makes it very easy to configure the variables that we need to actually perform the installation. So key in the Prism Central IP address, username, password, and in secure I'm going to select as yes because I'm using a self-signed certificate for Prism Central. But if you're using a trusted certificate, you can actually select no and create and paste in the PEM file, which is a base64 encoded string, into the additional trust bundle section. We can select a project. I'm going to select the default project, and the project construct actually allows you to do things like role-based access control from a Prism Central standpoint, as well as things like quota management. Select a non-GPU cluster and a subnet. I'll call this WSKN MGMT. This is going to be my first management cluster. I'll be using this cluster in future demos as well. Or we could alternatively, call this as WSKN workload. If I'm going to use this primarily as a workload cluster, which is available in Starter or Pro. Give it an IP address. And the image will be the image that we recently uploaded. Service load balancer IP, this will be used for the ingress method or the load balancer IP address to get access to the applications within the cluster. Or network service network, we don't have to change this, we can leave it as per default. But for more advanced use cases, like if you're going to do things like cluster mesh using something like Submariner or Cilium, then we want to make sure that we make the necessary changes over here. And storage is actually being provisioned by the Nutanix CSI or container storage interface, and it provisions storage on top of the Nutanix cluster. So we can select the storage cluster that we want to, the storage container that we want to use. We're going to use the default container. There's one item which is called the hypervisor attached volumes. This is actually really cool, whereby we don't need to go through a data services IP address to get access to block storage. We actually present it directly through the hypervisor. So there's a lot of optional fields that we can fill up over here. So the first one would be the FQDN for ingress. If we are going to be using FQDN on it, we can use Let's Encrypt to automatically generate certificates using the automatic certificate management extension. For ingress, if you're going to use private keys, we can actually provide the private keys, the trusted certificates over here, and the registry. Now this registry is actually quite important. We do want to point it to registry-1.docker.io, because when we perform the installations, it's going to pull a lot of images. So if we don't specify a particular username and password that we want to use for Docker, then we are very likely going to get rate limited, right? And Docker doesn't allow us to pull any more images for, I think, about 6 hours. So we definitely want to use authenticated Docker credential. This is actually free. You can now sign up for it on Docker Hub. Right, so HTTPS registry-1.docker.io, and the key that we need can be specified over here: root/.ssh.id rsa.ppath. If we want to actually generate a SSH key and we don't really have it yet, we can actually head over to another terminal and type SSH keygen, and this will automatically generate a key for us. So I'm not going to do it because I've already had one. Once that is done, I can just enter through and click on create. So this creation process typically takes about 10 minutes or so. So I'll let it run in the background while it's performing the creation, and I will come back. So the moment we see this, cluster was created successfully, get the dashboard details. This means that the cluster has already been successfully complete the deployment. So let's copy this, get the dashboard details. Then we can copy this URL, head over to our browser, get the username and the password. But I'll be changing it after as well. There we go. Let me see, we have got one cluster that's been created. So the next thing that we likely want to do is we want to head over into licensing, right, and manage our licenses from here. So if you have purchased NKV Pro Ultimate, what we can do is we can remove the starter license. And after which we can add in a license that comes from Nutanix or D2iQ. So I'm going to be using the legacy license, but if you already purchased, you will get a license in the portal. So once this is done, then what we can do is we can create additional infrastructure providers, identity providers, access control, and so on and so forth. So in the next video, I'll go ahead and do all that. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.